We'll call to order. The governing board meeting was called to order at 5 p.m. And I do have a special guest leading us in the flag salute. Can I have Benji Bustamante, please, lead the flag salute for us?
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, Kenji. Let the record reflect that all members of the governing board and administration are present. Approval of agenda. It's recommended that the governing board approve the agenda of April 11th, 2022 governing board meeting. Do I have a motion?
I'll motion.
Thank you, Michelle.
I'll second.
Thank you, Mr. Chong. All in favor?
Aye.
And I'm an aye. Motion passes 5-0. Approval of minutes. Approval minutes of March 14th, 2022. Regular meetings. Do I have a motion to approve March 14th, 2022 regular meeting minutes?
I'll make a motion.
Thank you, Ms. Ahmad. Second.
I'll second.
Thank you, Shed. All in favor?
Aye.
And I'm an aye. Motion passes 5-0. Approval of minutes of March 28th, 2022 special meeting. Do I have a motion to approve March 28th, 2022 special meeting minutes?
I'll motion.
Thank you, Michelle.
I'll second.
Thank you, Samad. All in favor?
Aye.
And I
Mo-
abstain.
Motion passes 4-0 with Ms. Castaneda abstaining. Moving on to governing board comments. Mr. Chong.
Good evening. Welcome to all the guests today. Looking forward to our Whitaker School Report. I think it's going to be probably awesome as always, and looking forward to what you have to share and what you've been going through. I was at a conference this last week. It's called the ASU GSV conference, and then was on a panel sharing about AI and biasness. And in this conference, you got to have a lot of CEOs and leaders, and I didn't know, and then found out later that our superintendent was there also in a group sharing about leadership to other CEOs. And so it was a great conference, but very pleasantly surprised to see our superintendent out in something that's a little different. And so it was really cool. Got a lot of good feedback from people that I talked to. So I just want to give him a little kudos on that. And just want to start with that because that was something I just had this past week. But I want to throw out there about state testing. Not a good word sometimes for some, but it's back. But I hope everyone is building up the energy and endurance. It's been different and we haven't had it. So I encourage all to go back to the good practice that we used to do, right? Rest up, get the vitamin C, get the early sleeping, and to the teachers, hang in there a little longer. I haven't done it in a while. It gets a little fatigue. So hopefully you got all the support you need, and it doesn't matter what the scores are for now. We're going to rock it anyways, but we'll take our time and just work towards back as we do that. So I saw in our report that the district speech team is going to the state championships. I thought that was very cool that our elementary and middle schools are going to be represented. So good luck to them, going to state. And that's always a hard thing to say. Not everyone can say that. And then lastly, there's the ELOP. I think that's a program that the state is offering to extend the school day to allow students to have a longer or opportunity. So from 7 hours to 9 hours. And I think at the open houses, they were having booths sharing about that. And it's personal to me because at my work, I'm in charge of the ELOP in my district. So for here, I hope all our parents are aware and get an opportunity to sign up for that through the online or Parent Square agendas, because it's a very good opportunity to help your students have more experiences, more enrichment, more opportunity. So I thought that was very good. And I'll be hopefully working with Ms. Huang a little bit to see what good ideas are going on there. And if parents don't know, please ask. We want as many people signing up if you can for those who it applies for. So that's my report for today.
Thank you, Mr. Strong. Ms. Castaneda.
Hi, everyone. I hope everyone's having a great afternoon. I want to share a few things I did last week. One of the things that I did was I went to go visit the Buena Park Middle School. We had a tour and it was a great time. It was a little bit different because we went on a Thursday, and so the schedule on a Thursday is a bit different. But I really enjoyed seeing how they utilize the time. One of my favorite things that I saw was how the teachers have the students collaborating with each other and speaking and just having a conversation together, and then that's leading into something else, and so just taking that and collaborating, the students having that, it's great. Another thing that I saw one of our teachers do and utilizing the time on a Thursday is how she had a song playing, which I thought was really great because right now our kids are all into music and they love it. And so she had a song playing and she had the words on the screen on the TV, and the kids had to listen to it and just kind of, pick it through and analyze it and dissect it and just, give their points of view and what it meant to them, and give their opinions. And there was no right or wrong answer, but just a different way of collaborating and just targeting our kids and just to get them to just interact more. And so I thought that was really great. Another also last week, something that we haven't been able to do for a while, and I really enjoyed it, was open house. So I went to the open house at Whitaker where my kids attend, and it was just such a great turnout. It was so amazing just to go into the classrooms, see all the great work that our kids are doing. It was wonderful. It was amazing. I had a blast, and I didn't go into every classroom or anything because I was just enjoying the time in my kids' classrooms and just seeing all their work and their writing and talking to the teachers and just having a great time. But even I did peek through into other classrooms. I didn't want to bother the teachers too much, but their classrooms were phenomenal. They had great everything. It was wonderful. It was a really, really great turnout. So it was really great for Whitaker. Lastly, also too, last week on Friday, also Whitaker took a lot of wins, but my kids also did participate in the track and field that was hosted at the Buena Park High School, and it was open to all Buena Park, but a lot of our schools participated. A lot of our students from our schools, from Gilbert, from Pendleton, Whitaker, Corey, Emory, and I gotta say the Buena Park School District came home with so many wins from all of our schools. But Whitaker came home with a lot of wins. So I'm really proud. I'm really, really proud of our students. And my third grader participated. It was his first time and he had a blast. He loved it. And so I'm just proud of all of them. It was really great. And for the city to be able to do that and support our schools in that kind of a way, it's really great. So yeah, that's it. Oh, and lastly, of course, I'm super excited for today's presentation. As you can see, I'm representing. So thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Cassiano. Ms. Ahmad.
Surprised me. I wanted to welcome everyone from Whitaker, our staff, our parents. It's so great seeing you. I loved walking through the classrooms a few weeks ago, and I just can't wait to hear all the great things that are happening. I also want to welcome some foundation members that are sitting in the audience. I'm so glad to see them here. You're going to hear from them in a little bit. But I just wanted to thank them for all the time they put in for the foundation. And a lot of people don't know about the foundation, but it's a lot of hours of, volunteering, doing all these things just to make sure that our kids get a lot more. So I want to thank you guys again, and can't wait to hear you present today. I wanted to also say Happy Librarians Week. I think I missed it by a week. It was last week. Yeah, so I want to thank all our librarians in our schools. A library is always a safe haven for our kids, and I'm just so glad that we have them, and I want to thank them. I also want to thank staff for open house. It was really nice this year to have it in person since we haven't in the past 2 years. It definitely beats Zoom. Just seeing all the kids in the classroom, just so excited to show their parents. This is the first time that parents get to step in the schools, and just the excitement for the kids to see that, their parents walking and seeing their work. It was just great. And I want to thank everyone that made that possible. I am also looking forward to tomorrow's choral festival. To say that it's like my favorite event in our district is an understatement. I just love that day. And it's just so great to see the kids perform. And I'm all for giving students the stage. Anytime we're able to do that, I love seeing it. I'm also looking forward to our Corey visit this week, hopefully on Thursday. Just the opportunity to go into the classrooms and see all the great things is always something that I don't take for granted. So I want to thank everyone for all their hard work, and that's it for me.
Thanks so much, Michelle.
Okay, thank you. I want to welcome our Whitaker audience and the rest of our staff. I wanted to look at what we did on 3/28. Angelina Pride facilitated our working on our handbooks. I wanted to thank her for that. I really appreciate her time. 3:30, as part of the LPAC committee, I helped look deeper into how our EL students are doing on their test in different 4 domains. On March 31st, I participated in what Supervisor Foley had. March is the National Women's Month. And so she invited all of the elected female officials to Bowers Museum for an event. It's called Women Making a Difference. And it was a fantastic affair. A number of women won awards, but what was even more fun for me was watching the children. She had children perform, like they'd do 2 or 3 awards and they'd have children perform, 2 or 3 awards and they'd have children perform. And we have been working on bringing arts and music into the schools for our students. So it was great to see that. There were elementary school kids, middle school, and high school students. So that was a wonderful event, and hopefully more elected females can join me next time. On 4/5, of course, we had open house. And I wanted to thank Principal Mary B. and the teachers of the early learning program, because they actually opened up their rooms early. And I appreciated that because I wanted to get to more than one open house. And so I was able to go through their rooms, and then I went over to Emory, which was right there. Beatty, excuse me, going to Emory tomorrow. Beatty, and see the great work. And I don't know who was happier. I know when I was going through the young students' classrooms, they were hurrying ahead of their parents to see their teachers and show their parents the work that they had done. They were so excited. And then when I went to Beatty, right next door, there were, the junior high kids were also excited to show their parents the work. Mom, there's mine over there. There had a lot of joint rooms where they showed kids work. But it was just great to see the excitement and the energy and all the hard work that had been put out. I liked how the teachers were integrating reading and writing and art. And you saw that, like the 8th graders, for example, had read the same book, social studies nonfiction, and they had all written about it. And then they showed it in an artistic form. And so it really gave the kids time to not only represent what they've learned, but to reflect on it when they show how to represent it in art form. So I really like that. And then I went over to, let's see. I went, I lost my place. I went to more than one. I'm trying to think, where did I go next? Oh, I went over to see Principal Bagger and his teachers. No, that was Emory. Hold on. I went to see Principal Park and his teachers at Boynton Park Middle School. And they took their open house outside and they had games for the kids. So it was a interactive open house, and that was fun. And then on Thursday, the 4/7, I went to Corey and saw so much great work. And even the grades that were the same and had the same curriculum, they were presenting it in different ways. So again, it gave the expression to the students to show what they had learned. And I went to Pendleton after that, and it was also very well represented. And lastly, I wanted to acknowledge that our California Superintendent, Tony Thurman, announced that there were 6 schools in the whole state of California that were model schools for the SARB. What do you call it? When you get kids to come back to school, like after COVID, we've had some issues with families not having all their kids in school all the time. but he recognized for the 2022 Model School Attendance Review Board, the 6 state schools in the state of California, and Buena Park School District was one of the 6. And so I just want to congratulate Dr. S. and the whole SARB team that works on that, because I know it's a lot of work. Like Ms. Saman was saying about the foundation, it's a lot of hours, a lot of attention to details, and I really appreciate them making Buena Park School District look great and doing the great job that they do. And that's it for me. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Shedd. What's gonna be hard to top Mrs. Shedd? I think she named everything I had to say here, so it might sound a little repetitive, but welcome everybody to tonight's meeting. It's good to have an audience here. Thank you for all the Whitaker families for being here present, and special guest. First off, I want to start by thanking our board members, Superintendent and Angelina Pride, for their collaboration in creating a new governance handbook for during our last special meeting. I personally think it's a great living document for us to follow as a current board and for future board members to follow. So thank you guys for all the work and collaboration we did. I know some of us weren't here, but you were still submitted your information like Ms. Castaneda did. So thank you very much for that. Open house was a big success. Our middle schools and elementary schools. It was great to see the families back on our campuses. Students were proudly displaying their work with their, family members and even their peers too. Even scholars were being recognized for receiving growth awards. That was something really neat to see, being them recognized for the work that the progress that they've done throughout the school year. And most importantly, the parents are reconnecting with other parents. I think as parents, sometimes we need that to see what's going on and connect back with our community. And especially to get to know our students, friends, and family. So we're aware of, who is around them at all times, but just reconnecting on a human level with, from parent to parent. It was neat. I know my daughters kind of reeled me back in and said I was there as a parent that night, not as a board member. So I quickly had to put a few hats away and get back on track because that's just how they keep me on track. But that was great to see. Also, a big congratulations to our BPSD School Attendance Review Board led by Dr. Seminowski. Also, Officer Gedner, thank you very much for all the work that you do in our school district. But I'll let Dr. Miramontes speak about that a little bit more in his comments. And also, I look forward to the choir festival tomorrow. I'll be there tomorrow evening to see all of our students performing and showcasing their talents. I know I can't sing, so I'm happy to see other people sing that could sing. So I'll be enjoying that. And then lastly, I do look forward to tonight's Whitaker report. It's a great campus. I'm always on there. I've had the opportunity to, during the pandemic, to pass out food to families out there, visit the garden, visit with some of the 3rd, 4th graders. Ms. Williamson has been doing a great job. Been following her since she was at Beatty. So thank you for all the work that you do there. And I look forward to the presentation. And that concludes my report. Dr. Miramontes.
Sure, thank you, board members. I do want to recognize the Ed Foundation that's here tonight. 2 members of the Ed Foundation, or 3 members that are here from the Ed Foundation tonight. They do provide support for our district-wide events. Tomorrow night is, as Ahmad mentioned, it's one of my favorites as well. They're all my favorites, but because of COVID, we've had to close some down prior to. But tomorrow night's event is being sponsored by the Choir Festival. I do want to take this time to thank Mrs. Centeno, who has put this together, along with Dylan Locke, teacher, music teacher from the Buena Park Middle School, and all the staff members that have worked with their choirs from their each school site. We did have a great visit to our 6th through 8th grade classrooms. Last week at Buena Park Middle School, we saw the social studies and ELA teachers. Wonderful visit with incredibly talented teachers and really engaged students. It was a minimum day, so we got to see what life was like in a shorter period. Lots was happening in that short amount of time. I did want to thank our parents for attending open houses. We didn't divide and conquer. We divided and conquered, but we didn't visit 2 school sites. It was the hour we thought, let's focus in on 1 school site. I had the pleasure of attending Pendleton's open house, an incredible event. Tons of parents there. Went through all the classrooms. I do want to give Jody Paulson a shout out. So it's wonderful when you have your parents there and your students there, but when kids that are in college and high school come back, that teacher's made a huge impact. That staff members made a huge impact. So Jody, if you're out there, I just want to give you a heads up. I was walking with a group of 3 students and said, hey, you guys look a little bit too old to be middle school or elementary kids, 5th grade. What grade are you guys? And I said, actually, I'm in college and I'm in high school. I said, so you're visiting with your family, friends? They said, no, we're here to visit Mrs. Paulson. And so again, the impact that educators have. I have one that I still talk to, Greg Bach, my 5th grade teacher. Important people in our lives. So Jody, thank you for what you do. On this week, we do have U.S. Representative Young Kim will be visiting our middle school program here at Buena Park Middle School. She is coming out to see our CTE pathways, our elective programs at middle school. We look forward to sharing all the work that we've done. We had a dialogue with her maybe about 6 weeks ago, and she said, what do you need, Dr. Vermont? I said, I just want you to see the wonderful things that are happening in our schools. She took me up on the offer, and she'll be out here this week, and we look forward to hosting her and her team and showing her the great things that are happening there. I do want to recognize, again, last week, as they had mentioned, State Superintendent of Public Education, Tony Thurman, announced that 6 schools did receive the Model State SARB Exemplar Practices Award. 4 of the 6 schools were from Orange County, so kudos to Orange County. At the top of that list was Buena Park, probably because we start with B, right? So we were at the top of the list. No, it's not the reason, but the importance of this thing is it's to reduce chronic absenteeism and get kids in school. Kids cannot learn if they're not in school. So it's all about getting our students back, making sure that they feel that they're part of the school community. And, we couldn't have done it by ourselves. I know Dr. Simonovsky leads this, but it's in conjunction with our school secretaries, our attendance clerks, our home community liaisons, our counselors, our principals, our teachers, and the partnerships that we have with the Orange County Department of Ed, the Orange County DA's office, and of course, our Buena Park Police Department that all sit together and help parents figure out how we can keep their kids in school. So just want to say that. I thought that that whole team definitely should receive some kudos there. And then most importantly, I'm looking forward to honoring your children tonight, parents. Thank you for your partnership. I'm super proud. Not only proud of your child, Kenji, but I'm also proud of the USC hat that you're wearing there. Since I have a Notre Dame fan in the audience, I won't name who. But no, I am proud of the fact that our parents are here in person. We've recognized every single school this year. I know our board was thrilled when we first had our first elementary school come through. This is our last elementary coming through. At our next board, we will be sharing the stage with both middle schools. It's not a competition. It's about a collaborative effort to honor students. So tonight, Mrs. Williamson, we look forward to having you and your staff and your students participate. And that concludes my report. So thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Miramontes. And just a little quick add to the SARB. There's over 1,000 school districts in California. So to be one of 6, it's a big accomplishment. And that's something to be really proud of because, like I said, there's over 1,000 school districts in California. So congratulations again to our SARB team for the great work that they've been doing. And we'll be moving on to program and reports. James A. Whitaker School Report. Dr. Miramontes.
Yeah, I'm excited to introduce Mrs. Williamson, the principal at Whitaker School, and her team members that are going to present with her. I'll turn it over to Mrs. Williamson. We'll do the report first, parents, and then we will honor your students and they'll come up, we'll take some pictures, and we'll take our lead from Mrs. Williamson.
Thank you. Good evening, Board President Frutos, school board members, Dr. Miramontes, Buena Park staff, foundation members, I just added you, and of course our Whitaker Sharks. I'm Stephanie Williamson, and I am the proud principal of Whitaker Elementary, and I'm honored to share some of the amazing things happening at our school. Next slide, please. Our focus question for the year was, how do we meet the needs of all kids? We know that there are many facets to this question. We decided to set our focus to 4 areas: professional learning communities, targeted language development, special education, and social emotional learning. We are a data-driven school, so let's start with some data. This is our comparison in iReady reading from fall to spring. Our mid or above grade level increased from 13% to 23% of our students. Our 1 grade level below increased from 42 to 46%. And our students who scored 3 or Grade levels below decreased from 45% to 31%. It was such a huge jump. We were really, really impressed. And we were also impressed, next slide, please, with our math data. Our mid or above increased from 7% to 15%. One grade level below increased from 36 to 55%. And our largest jump, our students that scored 3 or more grade levels below decreased from 56% to 39%. So as you can see, our students are moving from red to yellow to green in the right direction. And we are really proud of the hard work of all the staff and students in these areas. We also had some changes in our enrollment as many schools were decreasing in their enrollment. Whitaker, luckily, was increasing. We increased by 88 students from last year. 36 of them are our SDC students. Next slide.
Hi, I'm Christina Ryder, and I'm a member of the Whitaker Guiding Coalition. For our professional learning community, we learned from Dr. Cruz and took our new learning, and we have created and presented professional development to our staff. Becoming a PLC is not something that can happen overnight, but we are well on our way. So we have built our collaborative teams or our grade level teams, and we've created norms for our teams, fostered trust among our teams so we can have honest conversations about our students while analyzing their data. And we committed to meeting 1 to 2 times per week. Oftentimes we meet over lunch. And when we meet, we focus on 4 questions. What do we want our students to learn? How will we know when they have learned it? How do we respond if they have not learned it? And how do we respond if they have? Next slide, please.
Good evening. I'm Mary Beth Garza, and I'm an EL lead at Whitaker. We know that our English learners have specific needs, so we have learned about creating targeted language development and goals. Like our guiding coalition provided professional development at staff meetings, we have also created and delivered professional development around our learning from Dr. Flores. Together with our collaborative teams, we build several language goals that were based on our essential standards. And we are committed to using these targeted language goals across multiple subjects and having students engage in academic discourse at high levels. We are also committed to monitoring students' progress in using academic vocabulary.
Hello, I'm Suzanne Huerta, SDC teacher. This year, Whitaker went from 3 to 6 SDC classes and increased by 36 students. We learn right alongside of the Gen Ed teachers. SDC teachers have built strong collaborative teams with our Gen Ed teachers, and we meet weekly to discuss student achievement and interventions. We have SDC students that attend the Math Academy alongside Gen Ed peers. We are mainstreaming our students as part of their IEPs. We are committed to inclusionary practices, and they can be seen in all aspects of the school. This year, our SDC students have been part of the student council and help make decisions for our student activities. Our commitment continues to be to meet the needs of all students to succeed both socially and academically. Next slide, please.
Hi, excuse me. Hi, I'm Tony Bermudez, and I'm speaking for Heather Robson, who is part of our PBIS team. We learn what our needs are from our panorama data. From fall of 2021, we had an 84% favorable response to supportive relationships. This was a 3% increase from last year. Our greatest increase was in growth mindset, which increased 6%, but still shows only 57% positive responses. We continue to build our social emotional learning in several ways. We organize PBIS assemblies and events such as our game days and YouTube live raffles. Our teachers not only teach growth mindset lessons, but the language of growth mindset is woven into every day. Students use positive affirmations and statements like, I can't do that yet. And we have established check-in and check-out practices with our neediest of students who are paired with a mentor on campus. We are committed to continuing to analyze our panorama data and supporting all students with their social and emotional needs. Next slide, please.
Hi,
I'm Carolyn Reptak, and I am part of the Innovation Cohort. I'm here to speak about our progress with the Passion Program, CAMA, Communication and Media Arts. This year, we have been learning about discussing and planning our capstone projects. These are grade level projects that will increase our students' knowledge and skills with different kinds of communication and media. We are in the beginning stages, but some projects that have started are using QR codes in TK and K, so families can hear recordings done by our youngest students. Some of our older students had the opportunity to plan and conduct live Zoom interviews of a former Whitaker Shark as he graduates from college and prepares for the NFL draft. The interview was watched by our classrooms across campus, and teachers and students could ask questions. Next month, they will be interviewing another former Whitaker Shark, now a Buena Park police officer working in the K-9 division. Our goal is twofold: that students gain technology and media skills while seeing their future beyond their Whitaker years. Next slide, please.
And to conclude, we just wanted to focus on a couple highlights that we had at Whitaker. This year, we were fortunate enough to host GRIP Soccer Camp, which has been greatly missed for a couple years. We had 20 students participating in the 3-day soccer camp. There were guest speakers arranged every day. Lunch was provided, and it was a great collaboration with GRIP, OC GRIP, and our district attorney's office. We also participated in Global Play Day, which is encourages students to interact with others without the use of technology. We wish that we could have Global Play Day every day. And it was hard for some of the students to consider what they would do beyond their iPads, but they had a great time. And I'm so grateful for Mrs. Blodgett for always reminding us and keeping us active with the Global Play Day. This year, we are extremely proud that we had the winners of the district spelling bee, both in 4th grade and in 5th grade. And this year, we are also a Coatson demonstration school. So Coatson brings their trainings to Whitaker, and the teachers there learn from our students and from our staff. And most recently, like Mrs. Castaneda has just said, we participated in the Buena Park track meet, and Whitaker students took home 18 ribbons. We are so proud of the amazing things happening at Whitaker. So be sure that you follow us on Instagram at Whitaker_Sharks. Any questions? All right, thank you so much. Thank you so much. I love seeing all the Whitaker Sharks here. At this time, we're going to honor some of our students. So I put forth the task, the district asked and said, we need to honor 1 per grade level. And I said, really? Just 1? Are you sure? And Dr. Miramontes said, yes, we can only honor 1. Yeah, all the teachers, of course. But the teachers had to meet several times. Discussion, bribes, wrestling. I'm not sure how they decided because there are so many amazing students that we have at Whitaker, but they did narrow it down. So we're going to go ahead and we're going to start with our 5th grade student, Maddox Rose Factorin. Our 4th grade student and also who led the Pledge of Allegiance today, Kenji Bustamante Poon. Our 3rd grade student, Anna Chavarro Rico. In 2nd grade, we have Geraldine Hernandez. Our 1st grade student, Alejandra Rodriguez Hernandez. Our kindergarten student, Kayla Anaya. And our transitional student, who is the youngest but has the longest name, if you take notice of the certificate. But we're going to call Tire Alawasasen.
There's a parent outside. Wants to come in.
Now we're gonna have the board step up myself.
Those are the days.
I know. Everything is black.
Really?
Black.
Yeah, my daughters love dresses and I would put them in the house. I enjoy it.
Students, you guys. Walk outside.
She's like,
Congratulations to all the students and all the parents too, because I mean, the student success is also a parent success. So good job.
No, go ahead and start. No, it's all right.
All right, so we'll be moving on to the Buena Park School District Education Foundation update. Dr. Miramontes.
Yeah, I'd like to welcome the Buena Park School District Education Foundation for an update.
Okay, cool. It's okay.
We'll set them up now.
You can bring down the mic.
And I don't want to. No, it's okay. It's okay. It's okay. I'm small. I never grew. Okay. Sorry. Do I go now? Yes. Good evening, Buena Park School District Board members, Superintendent Dr. Miramontes, and other school district employees. My name is Priscilla Perez, President of the Buena Park School District Education Foundation. Other members with me are Barbara. Everybody knows her.
Yes.
Barbara, say hi. And Joanne. Everyone knows Joanne too. And fellow member Darwa. On behalf of the Buena Park School District Education Foundation, it is my pleasure to formally invite you to our upcoming casino night. There you go.
It is on May 14th. Thank you, Joanne, for passing that out. It will be at the Buena Park Community Center. Tickets can be purchased online at our website, Buena Park School District Education Foundation.com. Tickets are listed at $75 each. They include dinner and drink and 100 gaming chips. A little information about the Buena Park School District Education Foundation is it is a nonprofit organization organized and operated for education and charitable purposes for the Buena Park School District. This organization specifically has been formed to promote and advance education by supporting teachers and developing programs for the students. We have supported many programs through the years. One most popular and has been active since 2012 and is helping pay and the 6th grade students whom are unable to pay to go to science camp. We believe all children should have the right to see the snow, the animals, and the mountains. Thus far for this year, we have supported Kinder Kindness, a photography show. Many parents were so impressed they donated to our foundation to continue the event and the support for next year. Still to come was the Fine Arts Fair that already happened. Sorry. Gate Super Saturday, upcoming tomorrow, the Choir Festival. We recently sponsored the t-shirts with our logo. Thank you so much for that. And 3rd grade international dance. Lastly, we budget for teacher grants. Through the kindness of our participants, we together make filling in the areas students miss out, such as field trips, special assemblies, science exploration, music, and art in all schools, sports, and so many other wonderful things possible. We hope to see you at our casino night. As a reminder, May 14th. If you're unable to join us, you could still donate. Again, purchase tickets through the website, Buena Park School District Education Foundation.org. Tickets are $75. Thank you for allowing me to speak. And Aaron, I have money for you. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Yeah, we talked about this in cabinet, I know my cabinet's super excited to attend and be a part of this. We want to thank the foundation. This has been sort of a off year. Last couple of years has been sort of an off couple because of the pandemic, of course, but we do appreciate all that we're doing. The Kinder Kindness was a wonderful event. Got a lot of recognition for that. Most importantly, our students got a lot out of it. It's all about kids. So thank you for your continued partnership.
Thank you. So moving on to Gifted and Talented Education Program Report, Dr. Miramontes.
Sure, I'd like to welcome Mrs. Sari Wong, the Director of Educational Programs for the district, who will give us a report on the Gifted and Talented Program here at Buena Park.
Good evening, President Frutos, Governing Board members, Superintendent Dr. Miramontes, our executive cabinet members and guests. Today I'll be presenting on our Gifted and Talented Education Program report this year. Next slide, please. So in tonight's report, I'll be presenting on our overall Buena Park School District GATE program goal, what our GATE program designs and instructional strategies consist of, our GATE identification timeline and process, and also our GATE activities within our district and also at our school sites. And we'd love to share with you what we have in store next school year for our GATE students. Next slide. So with our Buena Park School District GATE program, we focus on meeting the needs of our students that show and demonstrate the capacity for high levels of thinking and of course, scholastic achievement as well too. So what we want to do as a GATE program at our school district is to build and nurture those talents, our unique talents of our students, and not only nurture that, but also give opportunities for our students to extend those learnings as well as reach the goals that they have for themselves as well. Next slide, please. So what is GATE? So as we are looking at our GATE program and in our GATE classrooms and at our GATE schools, we want to encourage our students to really go into depth and complexity all throughout our subject areas, not just in 1 or 2 subjects, but across all subject areas. So with that, we really encourage our classrooms to dig deeper, really encourage problem-solving skills, critical thinking skills. And not only that, but also build self-awareness and have that choice and voice and choice for our students. And of course, in addition to the core curriculum that our students are provided with, we want to go beyond that. We want to accelerate, we want to provide enrichment opportunities for our students. Next slide, please. So at the Bonaparte School District, we do have different models for our GATE students. We do have a self-contained GATE school or GATE classes. This means that for our 3rd through 5th graders at our Emory site, we have self-contained GATE classes where all of our 3rd grade GATE students are in one classroom, 4th graders GATE students are in one classroom, and 5th graders. We also have the model of cluster classrooms as well too, where at our other sites, our GATE students are in different classrooms where small group instruction is provided for our GATE students. For our middle school students, we have our honors program, as all of you have visited our classrooms. And from there, our students are given opportunities to get to dig deeper, to expand their learning, to accelerate their learning in different subject areas. For classroom-based instructional strategies, we look at different areas, right? We want to make sure that our students have multiple means of representation. For our students to not only know there is one way to find information, but there are multiple ways to find information. Also multiple means of actions, meaning different ways of expression. So we scaffold the learning for our students. We show our students, how do you show your learning in different ways? And also multiple means of engagement. The pacing may look a little bit different. Our students will be giving more opportunities with problem-solving activities. And also, in the depth and complexity, we want to look at it across all content areas. So these are some of just a few points that I want to touch upon of what we see in the classrooms in terms of the strategies for our students. Next slide, please. For our GATE identification timeline, for this school year, we pushed it up a little bit earlier for our students to be identified sooner. We started off with notifying our families that we will be doing GATE testing for all of our 2nd graders and select 3rd through 7th graders. That letter went out in October. November and December is when we did the testing for our students. And then in December and January, we went through the process of looking at multiple measures to identify our students that are GATE. And then in February, we notified our parents. I think it was probably the last day of February that we notified our parents. And then with that early identification of our students that would be participating in GATE next school year, we want to identify them so that we can invite our future GATE parents to our parent workshop that's coming up in April, so that they'll be informed of what to expect and how to support our students. Next slide, please. So as I have shared, and a question I hear a lot from our parents is, how are our students identified as GATE? And I do share with our parents that we do look at multiple measures to identify our students. One is the aptitude and ability. We look at something called a cognitive abilities test for our students. We, of course, look at their academic achievement, and then also we look at the characteristic traits of our students to make sure that our GATE setting would be a place of challenge and success for our students. Next slide, please. So as I shared, this is something that we newly launched last school year. We used a different abilities and aptitude tests, but starting last school year, we started using the cognitive abilities test screener, in short, we call that COGAT. And it is a web-based test that tests our students in 3 areas, which is verbal, quantitative, and nonverbal. So it incorporates all those 3 areas in the abilities test. So once again, all of our 2nd grade students are given this test so that they may be identified to start the GATE program in 3rd grade. And through teacher recommendation or parent request, we allow our 3rd through 7th grade students to take the test again as well too. And then as you see here, the test for our 3rd to 7th, it's about 40 minutes. For 2nd graders, as it is their first time taking the test is designed where it is an untimed test, but it takes about 45 minutes to an hour, and it is something that is proctor-led, whereas for the 3rd and 7th, it's an audio-led assessment for our students. Next slide, please. So as we look at the number of GATE students for this school year, we do have a total of 297 identified GATE students this school year. We did see a little bit of increase for next school year. We had a little bit over 300, about 316 students that were that are identified as GATE for next school year. And of course, our 8th grade students are gone, so that means we added more to our GATE students. Next page, please. So our district allocates funds for our GATE students. And from those GATE funds, we allocate some for our district programs, whether it's our Super Saturdays, our teacher trainings, and also assessments. And then the remainder of the funds go to each of the school sites, depending on the number of students that they have. And from there, our school sites, their site-based activities for our students that can even consist of their site Saturday events or their site after-school events, Battle of the Books, math field or whatnot. So our school sites have their GATE plans utilizing those funds. Next slide, please. So in the next slide, we shared here a little bit of what our district program consists of. Something new that we have started this school year is something called Define Learning. It is an online platform where it introduces, or it's a database of project-based learning activities there. So we've launched it with our GATE classrooms, where they are doing project-based learning in their classroom, utilizing the resources that's shared and utilizing this platform. And with Defined Learning, we have also started our teacher training piece with the project-based learning. So that's something that we look forward to going even deeper next school year as well too. As it was already shared, we had our Super Saturday event in November, and we do want to thank our foundation for your support. It made it extra special. And we have one more coming up actually in May. We had to reschedule it due to time conflict. And that's coming in, and we are also continuing to partner with OCD's Inside the Outdoors. But this time, last time it was more of an environmental focus. We wanted to go into engineering focus this time. So in May, we will dive in a little bit deeper with STEM, but with the engineering focus. We are having our parents, we have a GATE committee with our teachers and site admin, as well as parent advisor. We have quarterly meetings. And from there, we have some of our parents that would be attending our virtual California Association for the Gifted Parent Conference. So they're excited to join that, which is coming up very shortly this month. And in addition to that, like I shared, we have a GATE parent workshop coming up that is presented by OCD's Julie Hall, who is the GATE coordinator there. So for next steps, as we are wanting to continue all of our educations, we also want to continue the learning for our GATE teachers. And with Define Learning, the project-based learning platform, there's something called a project-based learning leadership cohort. And from there, we want to expand a little bit more with the teacher professional development piece, where there are something called micro-credentials. So in each training that we do, we can focus on different things, whether it is infusing the skills across the content areas, going deeper into project-based learning, inquiry-based learning. So we will be identifying the areas that we want to bring forward to our teachers to further all of our learning. In addition to that, we are going to be sending out a GATE parent needs assessment where we are soliciting input from our parents of parent workshops that our parents would like to see, and also what they would like to see expanded within our Winnebago School District GATE program. With Define Learning, we definitely want to expand that implementation. It's something that we just started this school year, so that's something that we want to look into deeper, and then have more. This year, we're kind of basing it on focusing on a project, but we want to have to do multiple next school year. And as we're getting ready for next school year already, definitely with the Math Academy support, we want to even increase more of our achievement with math. We want to continue with the Bonaparte speech program for our students, as we've learned that that really builds inquiry, critical thinking, speaking skills. Competitions were always big with our GATE program, and I know that there's been a little bit of a halt this year and last year due to the pandemic, but we're hoping that the math field day, which is something that we prepare from early on to the school year, will continue next school year. And of course, with our participation with pentathlon, we want to see that continued. In addition to that, we do want to build a scholar program. So not only to our GATE identified students, but we want to expand these opportunities and enrichment programs to our students that have not been officially identified as GATE, but for those students that show that merit possibility, right, of really benefiting from these opportunities. So that's something that we will really look into to bring to our students next school year. And I know that this is something that we've been looking into and we want to try to launch next school year, especially in our middle school, is the National Junior Honor Society, to really have that mindset of, leadership, community service, and just building the leadership within our students. So that concludes my GATE report. Are there any questions?
I just have a question. So let's say a student was not identified as GATE. When is their next opportunity to test again? Do they have to wait till the next school year?
Yes.
Or are they able to? Okay.
So we'll open again next school year.
I had a question about the open houses. Thank you.
I just want to say, pre-pandemic, I was at Beatty before when it was still in elementary. I think it was Mr. McDonald's class. He had a group of sixth graders, and some of them were GATE, some of them were not GATE, but they were blended together, and the students didn't know who was who, which was pretty cool because they were sitting in different in a seating arrangement where there was one GATE student per sitting arrangement, and the kids were just learning from each other. So I thought that was pretty neat to see students that were non-GATE still being challenged the same way as a GATE student. So I think GATE is a great opportunity, a great program, but there is some of these students that don't know that they're actually doing GATE style work. So I thought that was really neat when I observed it at one point. So I'm hoping we're still doing that, correct? Yeah, so I thought that was pretty neat to see that integration of the GATE with the non-GATE students. So I think it was really cool.
Well, I'd like to add, I went to the Super Saturday for the environmental one, the outdoor school, and it was fantastic. And so I'm really looking forward to the engineering one in May. And thanks to the foundation for their contributions that made that possible too.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks, Mom. So we'll be moving on to facilities modernization update. Dr. Miramontes.
Yeah, I've got Mike Bangbu and our Chief Operations Officer, and Tim Spencer from Teleq Construction Management, and Mike Anderson, Director of Facilities and Maintenance, Operations and Transportation, to join us. Mike?
So today's meeting, we're going to be talking a lot about the things that are actually happening, and you're going to see a lot of progress in the events, and then we're going to end up with some of the things that are actually on the board agenda tonight. And Tim, take us away.
Good evening. As Mike mentioned, we're going to be talking about what we're planning for the summer. Summer is so close. I know it's weird to say that, but for us,
Can I just say, every year about this time of the year, a big smile on his face comes up because he gets to build. Right? He gets to build. Look, I mean, he's ready.
I do a lot of planning for a really short window of work. So it's exciting to do it. But the month of April and May is really dedicated to a lot of bidding the projects that are happening in the summer and getting the contractors on board. So that's what I'll be talking about a lot today with those projects. So the first slide, we can go to the next slide. Just really the agenda for today is to talk about Beatty, because we are moving along on that project. If you've been there, you've seen a lot of progress in the last week with concrete and still being erected. So a lot's happening. And the upcoming projects for this summer, we'll be updating on the Cal shape along with some future projects that are taking place right away. So the next slide, you'll see a photo of the steel at Beatty. This photo is actually taken end of last week. So if you look at it today, there's a lot more progress in this. And the next slide after that will show the preparation for the concrete that was poured last Thursday. And you'll see the vis screen there, and the guys prepping all the rebar for the concrete that was poured on Thursday. The next slide is just talking about the Beatty project. I mean, sorry, the playground projects and Emory. That's in the process of being installed right now. Gilbert was supposed to be delivered today, and as of 4:30, the delivery truck did not show up, and we called to find out where it's at. And we don't know for sure if it'll be delivered tomorrow or later this week. But as I mentioned before, the delivery of the material has been our biggest challenge for the playground project. Actually, all of our projects that we've had throughout the district, procuring material for the playground has been the biggest challenge. And we're still experiencing those challenges. But the dates that you see here are the dates that are directly from the manufacturer. They're not our estimates, they're the hard dates that were provided to the district. And as we know, the delivery of those have been delayed a couple weeks here or there throughout the timeframe. But the good news is the next slide shows the status at Emory. You'll see that we are getting a lot of the new play equipment installed. The shade structures that are going on top of that. I think
They have them up, yeah.
I think they went up on
Saturday.
yeah, they were there on Saturday working on it. So yeah, so again, these photos were taken end of last week when I gave the presentation to the staff to include. So a lot happens real quick when you start rocking and rolling on these jobs. Another photo is just the next slide is just another angle of the playground structure at Emory. And again, that's moving along. So we're really excited about the progress of that and getting the students to be able to use that playground. The next slide is NPR. So really the status of the NPR projects is we held a mandatory job walk for the bidders. That job walk, we had a really good attendance. We had 11 contractors show interest in the project. A handful of those contractors were contractors that have worked within the district before and others that we solicited. And we did have 4 contractors that heard about it on the public advertisement that have not worked in the district before. So there is interest in this job, which is really exciting just because of one of the things that we were worried about from day one is just how small the scope is spread out over multiple campuses. At first didn't seem like that exciting of a project for contractors to want to work on. So we strategically lumped them all together in one project over that summer period to get more interest from the which right now is looking to be a good outcome of that. And we're hoping to see some really competitive numbers for the project that bids on April 19th. So that's a lot of progress on that project as well. And we worked with the DSA approval. It's wrapping up right now with over-the-counter processing the paperwork for it, but we will have that for the final item for the 19th. And that'll be sent out to all the bidders as an addendum. There aren't really gonna be any changes. It's just a stamp on the drawings that shows that DSA approved it. The next slide, for the Whitaker Curb Appeal project. Again, that's just rocking and rolling. As soon as the DSA gives us the final stamp out, then we will advertise and bid the project. We're kind of just doing one at a time. As we get the approvals from DSA, we're advertising right after and get all that approval before the summer starts. The next slide, the same with Pendleton, really. We're kind of in the same position here. We anticipate to have the approval from DSA in about a week and a half, and we'll shoot to advertise that project on the 22nd, which is right around the corner. And then from there, that back check submission that we will send to DSA after we get the stamp out, we'll send in the playgrounds as a CCD to DSA to incorporate that in the same. So they will be approved by DSA prior to install. That was very strategic to lump that in with that project. That way we can coordinate the scope of work to take place in the sequencing that we need for the site to function with construction. And then along with that, the MOT staff, they're gonna be building out temporary space for the admin to work out of, because we're gonna be demoing their building and they're gonna have a place. So they're gonna be working out of one of the portals. Mr. Anderson and his team are working right when summer starts, that they're going to be starting the process of upgrading one of those portals, make it look nicer and a better place to work. Because they will be in that space for about a year and a half. So it's going to be a while to be working on it. Hopefully. And then, so I'll turn it over to Mike to talk about Cal Shape.
So on tonight's budget, or tonight's exhibit, we're talking about CalShape grant, and it's basically a $463,000 grant that we were able to procure. And this is for 4 of our schools that will be getting maintenance and upgrades to certain components like CO2 monitoring systems, MERV 13 filters replacement as we go through the process, and then the minor repairs. And so working with our chosen contractor for Empowered Solutions, they're here tonight, that they're ones that helped us get the grant for this, and they're going to help us manage the grant, similar with what TeleQ does for managing our construction projects. So really excited with this process. In addition, we also have set aside some ESSERS and CARES funding that will help us do some other campuses while we wait for some hopefully additional, which looks like positive additional funding from CalShape to actually address the schools that did not meet the level of need that the 4 schools did meet.
And the next slide is just like, again, same information from the last update about the future projects that we're planning towards. A lot of the work that will take place on this list of projects will really take place midsummer. We'll start rolling on the next set of projects that we'll be looking at. With that, just any questions?
I just have a question about the CalShape. So assuming that we do all of these this summer, how old will our oldest unit be after this? Because I remember a while, like years ago, it used to be like, oh, these are like 10 years old or I don't know, older than that. So after this, how old will the oldest unit be?
Well, the AC units that we have in place will just get the change order. So some of the units will be targeted for replacement over time, and we'll use some of the ESSER CARES funding for that.
We did that a few years ago.
Yes,
Yeah.
and so we had a large grant from the CDE, and I think it was PG&E as well for this Prop 39 grant that we went through, and we were able to change some things. So I think our oldest one is what, about 15 years old right now?
And the portables might be a little bit older, right?
Portables are all old.
And even with the CalShape, they're pretty much through OPSC. After that, we have to apply.
Yeah, so a lot of this stuff is setting us up for a lot grants further down the road as we address it, continually with doing the surveys that we need to do. We're also, this is a maintenance grant, and so there's more money coming out that will be, we're hoping for allocations for replacements components, but then it's all a trial and error, and we have to wait for CDE and CalShape.
I mean, at least each one gets serviced at least. Like
Correct.
where-
And we all bring up the MERV 13, which is the required filtering component. And so, and then the inclusion of the CO2, which is by law.
So one of the things we can do with the board, and I'm hearing you wanted to find out how old the oldest was. We can run a report and provide you how many AC units we have and how old they are. Just give us a couple of weeks and put that in the Friday report.
Yeah, we did that. Prop 39.
Right.
We did that, There was a call. We went through, we did all the ones that were 20.
Yeah.
So,
That's what you're referring to.
yeah, there's some that were really old. And then, sorry, I'm trying to remember this Prop 15 report from years ago, but I think it was like 2.5 years ago was when we finished that work.
Yeah.
And we did update that list, so I can get that. For you.
Awesome. Thank you.
Thank you, TeleQ. And team.
Thanks, Tim. All right, so now we'll be moving on to the hearing session. The audience members may request to address the board on an item or on and off the agenda per board bylaws 9323. Individual speakers shall be allowed 3 minutes to address the governing board on each agenda or non-agenda item. The board limits the total time for public input on each item to 20 minutes. The total time allowed for public comment shall be 30 minutes. Audience members wishing to address the board during the hearing session of the agenda should fill out a request to address a governing board form and turn it into the executive assistant prior to the board holding the hearing session. Dr. Miramontes?
We have 3 public comments.
And I have him here. We'll start off with Miss Mildred Toscano.
And Ms. McPhelps will show when the time starts. She'll let you know when the time starts.
Student. The reason I'm here is to request that I would like to transfer. Have preferences and I prefer to go to a different district. The problem is that my request has been denied. It was like the steps, I letter, I gave the reasons, the first one was denied. The second one to the Zoom meeting. Denied. The third is now coming to you to talk about why it keeps getting denied. Pretty much like, why don't I as a parent get that right to choose where I want my daughter to go. I could give you 1,000 reasons and you might not agree with it, but it is my personal preference. I live in a weird spot. It's like I live in Anaheim, but like across the street, it's one part. And you know, I did the math, I did the calculations for Pendleton Elementary versus Dysinger, which is part of Central District. Logistically, it makes more sense to go to Dysinger and be allowed to transfer. It's just, again, a preference. Also, my husband and I are trying to buy a house in within the Centralia boundaries. So to uproot my daughter from, you know, Bonaparte School District to another district, I think again, I understand your job is, you know, to funding and you know, I know that for students, allocated for student. I'm an educator as well. I'm a special education teacher, so I understand that very well. However, as a parent, which is my role tonight, I feel that it should be reversed and I should be able to withdraw her from this district and continue on. I have the police that why don't I get it? And at this point, like district, it'll just be that facility because I feel that my rights are taken into consideration. And I know I have parental rights. I've even printed out the rights that I have. And I know that like one of my to work with the school and you know, will the school be a safe environment? I'm sure it will. Again, it's just personal preference. I think that's it, right? All right. Well, thank you for taking the time to listen to please let me know what my next step is.
Dr. Sobanovsky will let you know what the next steps are. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Toscano.
Thank you.
Up next, we have the Cheryl Train.
I would like to feel the decision of for the parts walk. Take her to school and back home.
and school schedule. I understand there are what the school care, however, it is not perfectly supported program. And I this request put in the documented reason for it, which is permissible with the school district. However, overall, for any that my reason for the request was due to a flight of this request that was due to 2022. Please.
Thank you, Ms. Tran. And we have one last one. We have Ms. Stephanie Ruiz.
Gianna has been bullied, assaulted at her school. She has been fear instilled in her. She's terrified to go to school, but it's very clear. She should be at a school of sound mind and not be fearful. The other part is that the teachers and after school program have failed to report every teacher. I have here December 2nd, and after school program employee was not reported. I reported this to Ms. Brett. Again, December 16th, she was assaulted and it was not reported to me. My child was the one that reported it. Again, I have March 31st, which was just recent. And these are just a handful of incidents I have that have not been reported to me. It causes me great concern that my child is being physically hit at school, and these concerns are going just, they're not being explained why. So on the 31st, she was assaulted 8 times. I was notified about 5 of them. However, Coach Bell did not report her being hit 3 times per day, which causes me great concern because she's hit in the face. And this is not okay. You guys have certain rules that you have to follow. You have to advocate for the child, and it's just fallen on deaf ears. I worked in close connection with the school. I feel like she's done everything that she can. However, the staff needs to be retrained. And why are these children still allowed to go to school? They're extremely aggressive towards my child and other children, and they have not been reprimanded accordingly. Because Gianna is also in a lawsuit, and everybody is made well aware that anytime she is assaulted, I am to be notified. So there's 2 parts here that we're not doing. And I'm not scared. She doesn't want to go to school. I'm not scared of her. She has an IEP, and this is taking time away from her education.
Thank you.
Sure, I will work with my staff and we will communicate to you, I'll talk to the board.
The only information I have been given was that we will just remind the teachers again that they need to tell. We've already reminded them several times. I have to. And she's been hit over 40 times. So that's serious.
I will work with the board, my staff will reach out to you. Thank you, Mrs. Reese.
Understand the urgency of the situation.
Absolutely.
Thank you.
Thank you. All right, so we'll be moving on to the action calendar. Inter-district transfer request 222-3NGKH6. It is recommended that the governing board uphold the denial of inter-district transfer request 222-3NGKH6. So I have a motion.
I'll make a motion.
Thank you, Ms. Mo. Thank you, Ms. Castaneda. All in favor?
Aye.
And I'm an aye. Motion passes 5-0. Interdistrict transfer number 2223 TOEMK. It is recommended that the governing board uphold the denial of interdistrict transfer request 2223 TOEMK. Do I have a motion?
A motion.
Thank you, Michelle.
I'll second.
Thank you, Ms. Ahmad. All in favor? And I'm an aye. Motion passes 5-0. Interdistrict transfer request number 2223 TRHAK. It is recommended that the governing board uphold the denial of interdistrict transfer request 2223 TRHAK. Do I have a motion?
I'll make a motion.
Thank you, Ms. Ahmad.
Second.
Thank you, Mr. Chong. All in favor?
Aye.
And I'm an aye. Motion passes 5-0. Interdistrict transfer request 2223 FEMIK. It is recommended that the governing board uphold denial of interdistrict transfer request 2223 FEMIK. Do I have a motion?
I'll motion.
Thank you, Ms. Ahmad.
I'll second.
Thank you, Shed. All in favor? And I'm an aye. Motion passes 5-0. Moving on to public employee appointment. Sherry Hayes, Coordinator of Special Education. It is recommended that the governing board approve the public employee appointment Sherry Hayes, Coordinator of Special Education, effective May 3rd, 2022.
So I just want to let the board know that we had a very competitive pool of employees coming forward. And I do want to thank the board for allowing us to hire not one, but two coordinators. One that will specifically be assigned to the school site and one that will be assigned to the district office working with other psychologists and under the direction of the special education coordinator. So I'll turn it over to Mr. Harrison, who will introduce our first coordinator, Mr. Harrison, our Chief Personnel Officer.
Process of screening, 2 rounds of interviews, and in-depth reference checks. I'm pleased to report that we get candidates clear that we already full of applicants for the position of coordinator. I'd like to start off with one of these individuals. After completing her internship at Long Beach Unified School District, Sherry Hayes has completed 10 years of service as a school psychologist with the Fullerton School District. After demonstrating her professional families, and teachers. Sherry was elevated by her district to the school psychologist position, providing guidance, consultation to school psychologist team, and a professional for this specific group. She also serves as the school psychologist liaison to the local staff. Her experience working with teachers, district, and SOPA staff will be a great benefit in her role as the coordinator of special education. Assist our schools to continue enhancements in emotional learning. Finds her own joy and peace through outdoor activities such as hiking the local area with her family and her 4-legged friends. It's my pleasure to Ms. Hayes for the position of special education.
I'll make a motion.
I'll second.
Thank you, Ms. Ahmad. Thank you, Ms. Castaneda. All in favor?
Aye.
And I'm an aye. Motion passes 5-0. Congratulations.
Hi, Mom. Hi, Dad.
Hello. Congratulations.
Are you upset we stole that one from Fullerton?
I know.
Sharing is caring.
All right, we'll be moving on to public employee appointment. Eduardo Hernandez, Coordinator of Special Education. It is recommended that the governing board approve the public employee appointment. Eddie Hernandez, Coordinator of Special Education, effective May 3rd, 2022.
I'm just going to turn right over to Mr. Harrison. and introduce him.
Our staff continue to see the impact that distance learning has had upon our youth, both upon general education and for students with special needs. It is therefore my pleasure to bring forward a highly qualified and compassionate for a position as coordinator of special education. Dr. Eddie Hernandez is a licensed marriage and family therapist. He holds a school counseling credential and an administrative credential and has a doctorate in educational leadership with a dissertation focus on social emotional learning. Dr. Hernandez brings with him a tremendous knowledge of SEL, behavioral management, MTSS, PBIS, and has leadership experience across many levels. Dr. Hernandez is originally from the Central Valley, where his parents were migrant workers. He's a first-generation Mexican-American and the first in his family to graduate from college. And from his personal experience, he seeks to help all students believe that they too can accomplish their goals through education. As a means of emotional conflict within his own family, Dr. Hernandez is coaching his 3-year-old daughter and 6-year-old son to be diehard Raiders fans. While his lovely wife is making sure that they root for the Golden State Warriors. It's my pleasure to recommend Dr. Eddie Hernandez for the position of coordinator.
Hold up. I don't know. Raiders and I'm not sure we're ready to bring that in here.
My wife told me to get a question on Raiders.
Yeah, this is whose house? The Rams' house. Okay.
You might have got a pass if you were a Niner fan, but I don't know.
Well, don't listen to him. I'll motion.
Thank
I'll
you, Ms.
second.
Ahmad.
I'll second.
Thank you. Thank you. Ms. Castaneda, sorry. And then Ms. Shed, second. All in favor?
Aye.
And I'm an aye. Motion passes 5-0. Congratulations.
Thank you so much for coming. I'm so excited to make part of my family. I'm super excited. Fortunately, my son and my daughter can make the film and the brother, but they're super excited as well. But I am really excited to help them with the sites directly, and provide my expertise, and create that amazing foundation that we already have. One of the things I do want to say is I have some history in Fullerton myself. I sort of missed you because when I left, you must have come, right? And Eddie and I had a conversation prior to, and he said, "You want to hold that up?"
Yay. It's official.
There you go. Welcome to the right team.
So he did have a conversation. Like as we mentioned, and Robin Gilligan, fantastic. We all did our homework, and so we're looking forward to having you come on board. Definitely much needed support, and just new opportunities for us to also grow. And then Eddie, I know that you had we pulled him out of the assistant principal pool. He had a skill set that we definitely need. And so I talked to Mrs. Williams and I said, he really wants to act like an assistant principal. She goes, if he wants parking lot duty, we can do parking lot. So she said, we will train him to be a principal soon. But we are looking forward to having you both on board. Mom and Dad, welcome. So thank you.
Thank you.
Congratulations,
You're welcome to
everyone.
enjoy yourself. You guys, yeah, celebrate. Take care. We'll see you on the 3rd.
Congratulations again. Have a good evening. All right, moving on to approval of 2022 extended school year ESY and summer academy. It's recommended that the governing board approve the 2022 extended school year ESY and summer academy. Dr. Miramontes.
Yeah, I shared with the board the plan for 5 weeks. Any questions?
Do I have a motion?
Motion.
Thank you, Mr. Chong. Thank you, Ms. Castaneda. All in favor?
Aye.
I'm an aye. Motion passes 5-0. Authorization to participate in the Quality Start OC Rating and Improvement System QRIS for state preschool programs and acceptance of funds. It is recommended that the governing board authorize participation in the Quality Start OC Rating and Improvement System QRIS for state preschool programs and acceptance funds. Dr. Miramontes.
Yeah, this is funds that we receive each year after a quality rating comes through. This year we didn't have it because of the pandemic. It's going to roll over. We just need the board to approve this So we can use this one to our school programs.
Do I have a motion?
I'll make a motion.
Thank you.
I'll second.
Thank you, Shad. All in favor?
Aye.
And I'm an aye. Motion passes 5-0. Approval of the ratification of the negotiated contract settlement for the 2021-22, 2022-23 school year with the Bonaparte Teacher Association, BPTA, and approval of related AB 1200 disclosure of collective bargaining. It's recommended that the governing board approve the ratification of the negotiated contract settlement for the 2021-22, 2022-23 school year with the Bonaparte Teachers Association, BPTA, and approve of related AB 1200 disclosure of collective bargaining. Dr. Miramontes.
Yeah, I just want to thank our team, led by Mr. Harrison, our Chief Personnel Officer, and Sandy Poteet, Chief Financial Officer. To get 1 year is tough, to get 2 years makes us smile to our faces. So I'm going to turn it over to Senator Poteet. We'll talk a little bit about this AB 1200.
Thank you. It is our pleasure to bring forward to you tonight the AB 1200 public disclosure document that is required, that tells us what this proposal will cost the district and to ensure that we can afford this proposal over the next 3 years. It has been submitted to the Orange County Department of Education. We have received a review that they have approved it. So we are all in accordance with our financial statements in regards to this. So everything is good there. You'll notice in the back, we have the salary schedules that are also included. Just to clarify, in case you're wondering why it only shows that there is a 2% increase for July 1 of 21 and a 3% on schedule increase for July 1 of 22. We do still have one additional percentage that has been approved and is part of the agreement. However, it is contingent upon the approval of the state COLA. So when that COLA is approved, if it meets at the 6% or higher as we put into the document, then we will bring back a revised salary schedule that will reflect that. But until that happens, we cannot include it at this time. It is part of the agreement. That part is all completed. We just can't bring those salary schedules forward.
It cannot be overstated how much that our team appreciated the collaboration with BPTA throughout this past year. One way that both teams demonstrated care and concern for all staff was by making sure that safety protocols and PPE were the first item on every agenda that has taken place for the past 2 years. While we are proud of this work that we've done together to provide for the health and well-being of teachers, Gil, Carl, and the rest of their team appropriately remind us regularly that appreciation also comes in the form of competitive compensation for teachers, counselors, psychologists, and speech and language pathologists. We have analyzed the salary schedules of 11 other comparable K-8 and K-6 districts here in Orange County to see where we rank in comparison. After the combination of the 2 raises that will become effective on July 1 this summer, we're pleased to share that our teachers will be in the top half of compensation at all experience and education levels, and even ranked in the top 2 or 3 at levels such as 10 years experience with a BA plus 45 units, as well as at 16 years with a BA plus 60 and a master's. A lot of our teachers fall into this range. And once again, we're proud to announce that out of the 11 districts, we're in the top 2 or 3 in a number of areas and in the top half of all of those areas. Beyond this, the stellar health and welfare benefits package, we believe that this most recent contract and salary schedule truly reflect our district's great appreciation for our caring educational staff. And once again, we want to thank BPTA's bargaining team for the collaborative spirit that was shown over this past year.
Thank you. Do I have a motion?
I'll motion.
Thank you, Mr. Chong.
I'll second.
Thank you, Ms. Shad. All in favor?
Aye.
And I'm an aye. Motion passes 5-0. Approval to award the 2022 Corey School asphalt bid. It's recommended that the governing board award the 2022 Corey School asphalt bid to Universal Asphalt. Do I have a motion?
I'll make a motion.
Thanks. Thank you, Ms. Castaneda. All in favor?
Aye.
And I'm an aye. Motion passes 5-0. Approval to award the 2022 Whitaker School roofing bid. It's recommended that the governing board award the 2022 Whitaker School roofing bid to Chapman Coast. Do I have a motion?
I'll motion.
Who wants to go?
I'll second.
Shed and thank you, Ms. Castaneda. All in favor?
Aye.
And that motion passes 5-0. Approval of resolution number 21 through 23. Resolution of the Buena Park School District for California School Healthy Air Plumbing and Efficiency Program. It's recommended that the governing board approve resolution number 21 through 23, California School Healthy Air Plumbing and Efficiency Program.
I'll make a motion.
Thank you, Samara. Second,
I think that's a roll call.
Yeah, roll call.
this is a roll call. So we'll be doing roll call. Start with Mr. Chong.
Yes.
Ms. Castaneda.
Aye.
Ms. Shep.
Yes.
Ms. Ahmad.
I'm an aye.
And I'm an aye. Motion passes 5-0. I'm sorry.
I'll second.
So Ms. Amon motion first, Mr. Chong second. And then I'll just roll call it just for verification. Mr. Chong? Ms. Shed?
Yes.
Aye.
And I'm an aye. So motion does pass 5-0. Resolution number 21 through 24, resolution of the Buena Park School District granting, signing, and authority to award bids and RFPs for 2022 bond-related construction. It's recommended that the governing board approve resolution numbers 21 through 24, granting, signing, and authority to award bids and RFPs for 2022 bond-related construction. Do I have a motion? Thank you, Chad. Second.
Second.
Thank you, Mr. Chong. All in favor?
Aye.
And I'm an aye. Motion passes.
Another roll call.
Another roll call?
The
Resolution.
resolution.
Sorry.
Oh, get late.
So let me re-motion this. Do I have a motion?
Yes.
Ms. Shed, and then second,
Aye.
Mr. Chong. Roll calling, starting with Mr. Chong.
Aye.
Ms. Castaneda.
Aye.
Ms. Shed.
Aye.
Samad.
Aye.
And I'm an aye. Motion passes 5-0. Moving on to consent calendar, unless a trustee has a question concerning a particular item and asks that it be withdrawn from the consent calendar, the items are approved at one time by the governing board. And I'll start with Mr. Chong,
Nothing to remove.
Ms. Castaneda,
I have nothing.
Shad,
Nothing.
Samad,
I have nothing.
and I have nothing. Do I have a motion?
Motion.
Thank you, Mr. Chong. Do I have a second?
Second.
Thank you, Ms. Castaneda, all in favor?
Aye.
And I'm an aye. Motion passes 5-0. Information and correspondence, Williams Settlement Legislation Annual Report Addendum, Williams Settlement Legislation Quarter 3 Report. Dr. Miramontes.
This is the quarter 3 and the annual report, both actually. Just want to know thus far.
And major topics 2021, 2022.
So yes, we've got major topics coming up. May 9th, we've got the middle school pathways report. Looking forward to having a video, and then also, more importantly, sharing more students up here and recognizing them with their families and staff members from both middle schools. June 13th, and we also have a facilities modernization up there. June 13th, we've got the public hearing for the local control accountability plan and the hearing for the budget adoption, as well as the ELOP program. So give an update on the ELOP. And then again, facilities modernization update and a technology update. So there's quite a bit on that day. And then June 27th, we've got the approval of the local control accountability plan, the adoption of the 22-23 budget, and then SUPSI evaluation.
Thank you. So now moving on to closed session conference with Dr. Ramon Miramontes, Superintendent of the Buena Park School District, Labor Relations, Buena Park Teachers Association, Government Conference Code number 54957.6. Labor Relations California School Employee Association, chapter number 569, Government Conference Code number 54957.6. Labor Relations Non-Represented Management and Confidential Contract Employee, Government Conference Code number 54957.6. And Public Employee Discipline Dismissal Release. Do I have a motion? Thank you, Michelle. Do I have a second?
Second.
Go, Ms. Ahmad. Yep, we heard it first. All in favor?
Aye.
And I'm an aye. Motion passes 5-0. The governing board meeting is called to close session at 6:39. All right. Good. Reconvening, do I have a motion?
I'll second.
And then this is Ahmad. All in favor?
Aye.
And I'm an aye. Motion passes 5-0. Governing board meeting reconvened at 7:04. Reporting at a closed session. No action was taken in closed session. Do I have a motion for adjournment? All in favor?
Aye.
And I'm an aye. Motion passes 5-0. Meeting adjourned at 7:05.